Alright, hold on one second here. Before I run today's episode, I wanted to let everybody know that this episode right here is actually just a little bit different than the usual. This happened about a year ago, right before Halloween. Actually, of 2024, I believe, and then that's when there was a large gap of me actually uploading videos. So, I wanted to let you guys know that I did get into an accident that night, but today's episode was pretty much a summary of my whole day because this is called Everyday Trey. So I wanted to take you guys along with me with kind of like the daily thing that I do, which is, lawn care, but, I wanted to kind of bring you guys along the way with me the whole time, and something was just really trying to get at me that day for some odd reason. With that accident that came, I actually ended up having about 7 week long concussion, and I had a hard time putting my thoughts into actual words. So it was very difficult for me to actually even put, just thoughts of my own, just straight up into words. I even still stutter now, as you see, because I don't like to do a lot of editing to where you can't really tell who I am. So regardless, I had a really long concussion series, and my lawyer really advised me not to post anything, including on my own social media. So I had stopped for a little while, and this is why. So I wanted to actually release this video and let you know what had happened at that time, and what kind of changed it to where, now I have, at this point, I have this truck. So yeah, I do hope, I don't hope you enjoy this video, because I mean, it really rocked my brain, but I do hope you I guess enjoy the video in a way. Please wait to the end, because this is one of those videos where it just, you'll kind of see. So thank you for watching, but yeah, this is the video in its own original form as I had it way before, when I was actually trying to get you guys to come along with me every single day, so you can see what all was, in my day at that time. So without further ado, I'm gonna get back to working on this, and you guys go ahead and enjoy this video here. So I do hope everybody has a wonderful day, and here it is. So I'm out here on the job, and I'm cutting the grass, as you can see. Nice line starting or ending over there. This is all nice and done, but I went in the backyard next to that blue thing right there, blue container. And I went back there, took pictures. The dogs were inside. Now they're not. And it seems like he's been pushing on that door. I don't know if you can see that, but he's pushing on the door, and he definitely wants me. So I'll try and get closer for a picture, but pushing my luck here, because they're not small dogs. I think German Shepherd or something. You know what, before I do that, you can hear too. And if you can see down below, there's a nose down there. So yeah, I'm gonna clean this up here, put that back in the yard where it was, and I'm gonna put that back, and I'm getting the heck out of here. There's no way I'm doing the backyard on this one. Okay, so I put that pile back, blew off the driveway. So I'm gonna go take a look-see. Nope. Easy. Nope. Dude, it's jumping, hitting the fence, if you can see that. I don't know, is that a Great Dane and a German Shepherd? Huge. I'm out of here. Alright, now that I'm back at the house, I got parts in the mail. So the only code that has come up for this Honda has been for the P0420 code, which is a catalytic converter. I replaced it once, but it was a super cheap one. I think it was like 40 bucks or something like that. So got a decent one that's just a little bit more pricey and even California approved. So if it's California approved, I think it's gonna work over here in Florida with no emissions check or whatever. So I'm going to be replacing that. There is the two O2 sensor connectors, so I'll be taking those out. Main thing is that I have to take that shield off and then get the bolts off up there, and then that should work out pretty well. But just letting you guys know, that was a new lawn account. When I showed up over there, I go and I take before pictures and after pictures just for reference sake and everything, and there's not supposed to be any kind of animals that can get to me or anything like that. I was already in the backyard. I had hit the front door ringer. They have the Ring doorbell and no one answered there. So I went ahead and went out back, which most people don't actually greet me. They just are happy that it's done. So I went out back, and next thing I know, I know every house doesn't have a screen door, but it was like the security door was like open or something, and it was just like a glass, all glass with a wood frame door between multiple dogs and me outside trying to take pictures of the before. So I was kind of up in the air whether I wanted to actually cut that yard or not, just because for my own safety. And before I could actually even get done with the front, they had broken out. And yeah, I am so glad. I usually leave that gate open on the side so then I can just mow through and cut, you know, from front to back and everything and get it all done. But luckily I didn't, and I left it closed, and that's a good thing, because that would have been my ass, because it doesn't seem like those dogs were very nice, seeing how they're breaking the doors to get at me either. So glad to be back in one piece. No chunks out of my derriere. So I'm gonna go ahead, start ripping this off of here and opening that and putting that piece down there. There you go, work together, and putting it on there. So hopefully I'm gonna clear the code from there and be done soon, but hopefully that fixes that P0420 code. I'm almost positive it will, but here we go. All right, and that's off, minus this gasket right here, which should come right off somewhat easily. Here we go. Oh, nice oil coming out of there. Okay, why is there oil coming out of there? Oh, it's stored up. See, there's a bad valve cover. Like, not even the gasket is new, but the valve cover itself is warped. So this is why you have oil down here and leaking in there, because it was stored in between that little crevice and down here and all over there. It's because of the actual valve cover. So as soon as that comes in, then I'll go ahead and replace that. But until then, it's leaking some a little bit. It's definitely a word. Which leaves me to the box, and gotta see what's in the box by stabbing it with a screwdriver that I custom made for rear brakes. If you've ever done rear brakes that are drums, then if you know, you know. It's kind of like one of those things. Damn springs. But this is what is in the actual box and how it comes. Nice little piece of foam. Ooh, new hardware that is all wrapped in there. Okay, that works. And so, ooh, it even comes with a box and a warranty card. See, this is different. I know that my other one did not come with a warranty card, at least, you know, for it actually to last. Alright, so there is the old one with the shield that came off of that one, and then here is the new one that was also wrapped in the foam as well around the actual piece here. Comes with a bunghole, what is that, a bunghole plug? So, got a bunghole plug right there. But this one is a little bit heavier than this one, and you can obviously see that this one has a wider catalytic converter than that one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the actual O2 sensors over there, clean the upstream there, and actually reuse those, put those in here, and swap that back on to there. What also comes in the kit is a gasket that I kind of tore just I didn't tear it, but I bent it a little bit. and a new donut gasket for the bottom that goes right there so you can make the rest of the exhaust, as well as new springs. So let's do it. Great part of any project is actually switching it from off to on. I freaking love that. All right, now the part catalytic converter is now put on. I did have to beat that side, which I shouldn't have used the drum special screwdriver, but I got that all back in place because this wasn't really lining up with the shield and I still wanted to use the shield, so I kind of beat it into place. And otherwise it worked out really smoothly. O2 sensors are connected back in there and all put back together. The exhaust down below is also connected, so okay. So next thing I gotta do is get the tools out of the way, which some of it is helping itself to get out the way. Go ahead, drop this on the floor and actually hook up the scan tool and clear that code and see how it runs. Alright, inside the Honda, and it has 224,795 miles. And now, like I was saying, the only codes that were on there were P0420 for catalytic system efficiency below threshold. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that, and from there I will see how... yes, it's off. Yes, delete. Yes, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that and see how it runs from there. But I'm pretty sure this should solve the issue. Alright, started great. No issues whatsoever. Looking at the air-fuel ratio, this is like dead on where I would think it would be for warming up and idling down. It seems very I can smell that new catalytic converter coming out. Whew, that's been warming up. But that seems like it's actually sitting right where it should be. So I'm going to take this around the block and see how it does. Okay, so it's smoking a little bit. I'm gonna double check to make sure that that's just, you know, the new part wearing in correctly, hopefully. Oh yeah. Well, from factory, or when the catalytic converters are made, they actually are made, and before they are shelved on the, before they are put on the shelf, they're actually, they put like an oil on them so then they don't rust or anything like that. So that's probably what you see burning off there. So I'm gonna go ahead and try my luck with no extinguisher fire here. Fire extinguisher. My dyslexia is really kicking up today, but I'm gonna go ahead and try and take this around the block and make it back with no burn holes or burnt carpet or anything else burnt for that matter. Alright, so the maiden voyage went really well, and now I'm gonna go on a longer test drive and actually see how it does. But overall, I mean, talk about headlights needing restored, my goodness. But I'm gonna go ahead and try and take this down the street and on a longer journey, see how it does. But it's still smoking a little bit from the catalytic converter because the new oils that they put on there. But overall though, it seems like it's smooth. And by the way, that catalytic converter is actually California approved, so for it being a cheaper catalytic converter, technically it's still California approved, so it's got to say something about it actually doing its job. So on to the next test drive. Alright, it is the next day, and the Honda did not make it through traffic. It actually drove worse than it ever has. In my hands, it definitely, it stalled twice in traffic, and I found my first turnaround and took it back home. It was running fine at first, and then all of a sudden it just was not for sure. So hopefully a code pops up after running that little beauty, so then I can figure that out, because I don't think it's the California edition catalytic converter that I put on. But meanwhile, while that one sits, I have this nice GMC, one of these GMC like Terrains, I think, or something like that. It's a 2013, and it's in for a box. Well, not box, I'm sorry. It's in for brakes. So we got he came back and with parts from AutoZone. I think they're the Duralast Gold Edition brakes. So I got those put on the front. Nothing too bad. The front left, or USA driver side, seems to be sticking a little bit, but I actually fixed that by removing that little rubber piece. That's on the end of one of the sliders for each side, and that tends to swell up and it gets caught. So that with a bunch of no grease can really catch the brakes. So I can see a visual difference between the inside and outside pad on this side, which I think is going to be the issue. So hopefully the brakes, because the customer complaint was that it shakes, you know, past 40 when you hit the brakes. And this has a few other issues, one being the transmission. You can actually shake the CV axle and it will kind of make noise coming from the transmission. So this side has a carrier bearing, so there's a half shaft and then it rides into a bearing shaft or something that actually fits into the transmission. And I don't see or hear as much on this side, but I did on the other side. So hopefully between new brakes, re-greasing everything and trying to get everything right, there was a bolt that was loose on this side, but otherwise it seemed okay. All the rubber suspension pieces seem extremely tight, really well. I think somebody put in a decent amount of money, trying to get a lot of, you know, things fixed for it and trying to solve one problem, which was probably that clicking noise. I'm almost for certain it's coming from the transmission. It's not coming from the actual half shaft axles. The half shafts actually look pretty darn good. You can see that. They look better than the one on the Honda, and the Honda one is not clicking, and it hasn't been. This one has like 130,000 miles on it or something like that. The guy just bought it. But yeah, so brakes are renewed on it. I did everything I could. I used a lot of new grease and ingenuity for knowing that those little rubber pieces can cause a lot of issues in there. I did suggest a tire rotation, but he said that he was going to get tires in a month or two, so don't even worry about it. But come to find out that the front right has a plug in it, which could be causing a small shimmy, but I don't think as much. I still suggest putting these on the rear. This is not the all-wheel drive, this is front-wheel drive. So I'd like the Meteor tires that are on the rear there to actually be on the front, so then most of the weight with the engine, transmission, and body and everything will be on the better tires. But he denied that, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw the actual tire back on and take this thing for a test drive. I don't think this should be much as an issue. I'm just having a couple phantom issues between that Dakota and the Civic right now, so here we go. And on to the next part of my day. This whole tree has to go. Hasn't fallen, it's just growing sideways. So all of this, and it leads all the way down, which there's a couple branches up top that have snapped from it, but it's back there. That's the trunk of it, so that's gotta go. I'm gonna get going on this and get a load of wood out of here. So alright, so I just got done loading the truck up with one load of lumber. This is the yard now. I mean, obviously I still have more debris to move out, but man, that whole area was nothing but covered in all this here. So like I told him, it's really going to open up this backyard, I think, and I'm right. The only downside is that fence, I don't think wants to necessarily stay up on its own, so I went ahead and put the spare pieces of wood in there to kind of help brace it. The storm, I'm pretty sure, is what tore that fence down the way that it is, but at least I didn't have any branches fall on it or anything. But I still have that big dead piece there to go, all the debris here. There's the tree stump that I still have to actually flush cut or cut as low as I can to the ground without actually hitting the ground, because the dirt or sand quickly dulls the blade. So I've still got just one more big cut to go right there, all the way around as far as I can and as close as I can to that fence without hitting it. But I've got about another thick load, maybe 1.5 loads with this big branch here. But one more load, I should be able to actually get this all cleared out of here. The only thing in question, because he asked me to top a tree that had split and fallen, which I thought was that one, and I did that, and as everything started clearing up, that one popped into my vision, and I'm hoping he's not talking about that one, because that one is, oh, I don't know, about 40 feet off the ground, 50 feet off the ground maybe. I'm not too friendly with heights, or I should say heights aren't friendly with me. But I'm gonna get finished cleaned up for the day. This is about all I can do for today. This is all staged up, so that's single pieces, ready to, real small, easy to load up, just needs weight to fluff it down. This is like one or two cuts, pretty much there, and there. Just making that one a little bit shorter so it'll fit on the bed. Same for this one here, and just a few over here need like 2 or 3 cuts each, and then I should be able to throw those each on there. So this is what I'm doing in a day, because this is everyday Trey. So I want to get back to the cars, but to get back to the cars you got to make money, and this is technically how I do it right now. So got done with the brakes earlier, he's happy with it, and then I jumped on this project, so now I get to go home. So yay, time to clean up.